A $400 fan replaces your $7,000 air conditioner. 90% of your cooling bill gone. The fix vanished in 1949. Before we break down how a $600 fan beats a 3-ton compressor, you need to understand why your air conditioner was never built to win this fight. The reason has a name. It's called the refrigeration trap. But here's what the cooling industry doesn't want you doing the math on. Your 3-ton central air conditioner is rated to remove 36,000 British thermal units per hour. A typical American attic absorbs over 600,000 British thermal units per hour at peak sun. Your insulation slows it down by about 4 hours, which is why your house keeps getting hotter from noon until sunset. By the time the sun goes down, your attic is a thermal battery holding 24 hours of heat, and your air conditioner is rated to drain it at a rate that loses to the math by roughly 16 to 1. That's the trap. Your air conditioner isn't built to win the heat fight. It's built to stay barely ahead of it, which is why it runs continuously through every summer afternoon, and why your bill compounds every month. 90%. That's what residential cooling bills drop on whole house fan retrofits, according to Pacific Gas and Electric's own field data. Not 5%, not 20%, 90%. The whole house fan does what your air conditioner can't. It removes the heat at its source before it has time to accumulate inside your living space. A standard 30-in whole house fan moves 6,000 cubic feet of air per minute. Multiply that by a 25-degree Fahrenheit differential between cool night air outside and warm interior air, and you're looking at roughly 162,000 British thermal units per hour of cooling capacity. That's over 4 times what a 3-ton air conditioner can deliver at 1/8 the wattage. A $600 fan beats a $4,000 compressor on raw cooling output. Every single hour of every single night. The cooling industry has been selling you a product that loses on physics, and you've been paying the bill. The reason your air conditioner can be redesigned to win is the second law of thermodynamics. A refrigeration cycle moves heat from a cold space to a hotter space against the natural gradient, which is why it always costs energy and always loses efficiency at high outdoor temperatures. A whole house fan moves heat with the gradient from a hot space to a cold space, which is why it costs almost nothing to operate. Your air conditioner is fighting physics. The fan is riding it. The compressor is fighting a battle the fan already won before the sun went down. And the reason it wins comes down to a free resource sitting outside your bedroom window right now every single night that your air conditioner has been ignoring for 77 years. Turns out, the cold reservoir was hiding in plain sight. The cold reservoir is the night sky. Across roughly 60% of the continental United States, summer temperatures swing 20 to 30 degrees between the afternoon high and the pre-dawn low. A summer day might hit 95 degrees Fahrenheit at 4 o'clock p.m. By 11 p.m., it's 70 degrees. By 4:02 a.m., it's 65. That 25 to 30 degree drop is the diurnal swing, and it's the entire reason a $600 fan can match a 3-ton air conditioner, 25 degrees. That's the average summer diurnal swing across 60% of the United States. The cold reservoir that makes a $400 fan equal to a $7,000 air conditioner is sitting outside your bedroom window every single night, and your house has been ignoring it for decades. Here's how the physics actually works. At 11 p.m., the outside air is colder than your interior air by 25 degrees. The whole house fan pulls that cold outside air through your open windows, sweeps it across every room of the house, and exhausts the day's heat up through your attic vents. Your house literally exchanges its hot interior air for cold outside air every single minute for 8 hours straight. 8 hours. 6,000 cubic feet per minute is roughly 2.9 million cubic feet of air exchanged per night. That's the entire interior volume of an average American home replaced over 300 times. By 6:20 a.m., every cubic inch of air inside your house has been swapped with cold night air, and the structure itself, the drywall, the framing, the furniture has cooled down to ambient. By the time the sun comes up, your house is 10 to 15 degrees cooler than your air conditioner could have made it, and you used roughly 4% of the energy doing it. There's one more layer that almost nobody outside graduate-level thermodynamics ever talks about: the 8 to 13 micron atmospheric window. On clear nights, your roof radiates infrared heat directly to outer space, where the radiative temperature sits around 270 degrees Fahrenheit. A passively cooled roof actually drops below ambient air temperature by 5 to 10 degrees on clear nights. The whole house fan accelerates this. It pulls the radiatively cooled attic air down through your living space, dumping the day's stored heat into the void of space while you sleep. This is the part that breaks people's brains the first time they hear it. Your roof on a clear summer night becomes a passive radiator pumping infrared energy directly to space, because the upper atmosphere doesn't absorb infrared in that specific wavelength band. The radiative cooling power of a clear night sky is roughly 100 W per square meter, which on a 2,000 square foot roof translates to nearly 20,000 W of free cooling capacity. Your air conditioner runs at 4,000 W, and you pay for every single one. The whole house fan harvests the 20,000 W resource for free. You've been ignoring an open faucet of cold for 77 years. Free physics, free reservoir, free cooling. So, why has nobody heard of this? Because in 1949, the cooling industry made a marketing bet that paid off for them and cost you every summer since. Actually, the burial happened over more than 12 years. In 1949, Carrier Corporation launched the residential central air conditioning mass market push. They weren't selling a cooling solution. They were selling a recurring revenue model. A whole house fan was a one-time $400 sale. No service contracts, no refrigerant recharges, no compressor failures, 20-year lifespan. A central air conditioner was a $7,000 install, a 30-year service relationship, and a permanent line item on your electric bill. The math worked beautifully for Carrier. The math didn't work for you, but you didn't know that because, by 1962, the cooling industry had quietly rewritten how American homes were built. 1952, the first mass-marketed window air conditioning units shipped, priced for middle-class homeowners. Within 5 years, the central air conditioner became the default in new home construction across the southern United States. 1956, the United States Department of Agriculture's Extension Service stopped distributing whole house fan installation guides. They'd been free for 30 years. They quietly disappeared from the publication catalog. 1962, the National Association of Home Builders Construction Standard stopped specifying gable ventilation cuts and attic exhaust capacity in residential blueprints. Homes built after that year were physically incapable of accommodating a properly sized whole house fan because the attic ventilation needed to support a fan was no longer being framed in. By 1970, the entire infrastructure that supported whole house fan cooling had been removed from American residential construction. Anyone who wanted to retrofit had to cut new vents into a house that wasn't built for them. The whole house fan didn't get banned. It got infrastructure starved. The cooling industry didn't have to lie about your fan. They just had to make sure nobody was talking about it, and that the houses being built couldn't accommodate it. They succeeded for 77 years. Pacific Gas and Electric ran controlled field studies in California in 2007 comparing whole house fan operation against central air conditioning across over 400 residential homes. The results were clean. Average cooling cost reduction was 87% the first year. Peak summer reduction hit 94% homes with proper night flushing protocols. The data is public. The industry has known. Pacific Gas and Electric quietly added a whole house fan rebate to its energy efficiency program in 2012, offering homeowners up to $300 off retail price. The rebate exists because the utility company itself recognized that whole house fans reduce peak load on the regional grid by enough to defer hundreds of millions in transmission upgrades. Your local utility almost certainly offers a similar rebate. They benefit because the grid stops melting in July. You benefit because your bill drops by 90%. The only loser is the company that sold you a $7,000 central air conditioner. The Florida Solar Energy Center confirmed the same numbers in independent testing across the southeastern United States. Lawrence Berkeley National Laboratory documented sub-ambient roof cooling on clear nights in 3 different climates. The science isn't fringe. It's been verified by 3 of the most rigorous energy research institutions in the country, all of which publish their data freely. The American Society of Heating, Refrigerating, and Air Conditioning Engineers, ironically, the trade body that represents your air conditioner manufacturer, has published the diurnal swing math in its own technical handbook since 1989. The industry knows, the engineers know, the utilities know. The only people who don't know are the homeowners who keep paying. You haven't heard about it because the cooling industry doesn't make a single dollar telling you to replace your air conditioner with a fan. The only thing left between you and a 90% cooling bill cut is the install, except the install has one trap that's cost more than a few homeowners a winter heating bill. The whole house fan mounts in your ceiling inside the joist bay between your top floor hallway and your attic space. The fan housing is roughly 30 in square, cuts directly into your existing drywall, and bolts to the joists with framing brackets. A standard installation takes a single afternoon, costs roughly $50 in wiring, and requires no permits in most jurisdictions. The fan itself runs $400 to $450 at any major hardware retailer. Look for a model rated at 6,000 cubic feet per minute or higher, with a sealed motor housing and at least 3 speed settings. The QuietCool brand and the AirScape brand are both documented in independent testing as the most reliable units on the consumer market. Operation is simple. After sunset, once outside temperatures drop below your interior temperature by at least 5°C in Fahrenheit, you open windows 2 in on opposite sides of the house, then turn the fan on. Cold outside air gets pulled through your open windows, sweeps across every room, and exhausts up through your attic vents. Run it from roughly 11 p.m. to 6 a.m. Now, the trap. The standard fan housing has an open grill that connects your conditioned living space directly to your unconditioned attic. In summer, that's exactly what you want. In winter, that grill becomes a giant heat leak. Warm interior air rises through the grill into the attic and out through the gable vents every single hour. A standard whole house fan that hasn't been sealed for winter can leak more heat than a poorly insulated window. The fix costs $30. An insulated whole house fan damper kit, sometimes called a winter cover or insulated cap, is a rigid foam panel that magnetically seals the fan housing from the conditioned side. You install it on October 15th, remove it on April 15th, and your winter heating bill stays exactly where it should. Total install cost: $400 for the fan, $30 for the insulated damper, $50 for the wiring, $480 all in. Payback math. The average American household spends roughly $170 per month on summer cooling between June and September. A 90% reduction saves $150 per month, 4 months of the year, for a $600 annual savings. Your fan pays for itself in the first summer and saves you $12,000 over a 20-year service life. A few practical notes worth knowing before you buy. Don't undersize. A 4,000 cubic feet per minute fan in a 2,000 square foot home won't pull enough air to flush the structure. Always size at 3 cubic feet per minute per square foot of conditioned space, which translates to 6,000 cubic feet per minute for the average home. Always run with windows open. A whole house fan with closed windows will simply exhaust your living space until the structure can't breathe. And always seal the unit in winter. The damper kit isn't optional. One geographic caveat worth stating clearly. The diurnal swing physics depends on overnight temperatures dropping at least 5 degrees below your interior comfort temperature. In coastal Florida, coastal Houston, and parts of the Persian Gulf, summer overnight lows stay above 78 degrees Fahrenheit, which means the fan can't pull enough cold air to flush the structure. If you live in those climates, the whole house fan is a supplement, not a replacement, and you'll still need an air conditioner for the worst weeks of summer. Roughly 40% of the United States falls into that category. The other 60% gets the full benefit every summer, every night. For renters and condo owners, the constraint is different. You can't cut a hole in a ceiling that isn't yours. But window-mounted whole-house fans exist, run roughly $200, and deliver 80% of the same cooling benefit without permanent modification to the structure. If you're in an apartment, that's the version you want. The physics is identical, the install is reversible, and your landlord never has to know. There's one last detail almost nobody mentions. The fan needs roughly 1 square foot of attic vent area for every 750 cubic feet per minute of fan capacity, which on a 6,000 cubic feet per minute fan means 8 square feet of net free vent area in your attic. Most American homes built before 1960 already have it. Homes built between 1970 and 2000 often don't, which is why the install guide tells you to walk into your attic with a tape measure before you cut anything. If your gable vents and ridge vents combined fall short, you can add a soffit baffle kit for about $60 and bring the structure up to spec in an afternoon. When a $400 fan replaces a $7,000 air conditioner, wait until you see what a $7 powder did to a $3,000 air conditioner. That video is right here. If this story changed the way you look at the physics of your home and those high energy bills, please subscribe and like the video. We are uncovering the history and the science that they have tried to keep hidden for decades. Let's build a more efficient future together. Our next deep dive into the secrets of the industry will be opening soon.